Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I will be talking to you about perhaps the most important question of this YouTube channel. Is schizophrenia a call for enlightenment? Is it so? It may be. Let's talk about. Think of this girl. There's a girl. She's a beautiful girl, a pretty girl. She is in her teens. She has many boyfriend possibilities. She might date this or that boy. Many boys like her. Many boys want to date her. However, she systematically refuses the offers. She grows older and older, and most of the other girls, they already have their boyfriends, whereas she still has not because she's so selective. She doesn't want any kind of boyfriend. No, she doesn't think that her status is so important. She doesn't think that she's this urge to tell people the boyfriend that she now has. She's a virgin, and the other girls are not virgins anymore. But she prefers to face this kind of shame than engaging with a boy who's not the perfect boy. She's waiting for the perfect boy, the best offer. So this girl, she will marry much later than the other girls. However, when she does that, it is for life. It is a person that makes her happy, truly happy. So I can see some parallels of that to my own life. I remember in my adolescence and throughout much of my adulthood, I felt like I was childish. So this was difficult for me to look like a child, very difficult. And this is something I share with many people with schizophrenia. I don't share many other symptoms, the reason of which I do not agree with the diagnosis that was given me. However, this kind of characteristic I shared with with other people with schizophrenia. I was childish and I was ashamed of being a child. However, what happened? I did not embrace fashions so easily. Most adolescents and early adult people, they follow fashions. There are certain fashions that it's possible to follow. And through that, they feel like they belong. They feel they are inside society by following fashions. You see? But I would refuse, like that girl. She refused the boyfriends. She would not accept a boyfriend just for the status. So the same with me. I could have been a fan of rock and roll. I could have been whatever. I was not. Because even being difficult to remain a child, to not develop into this or that kind of person who is more accepted into society, I would refuse because I wanted something better. I wanted something really satisfactory. So, in this sense, schizophrenia is a call for enlightenment because as we refuse the offers, the simple offers, we wait for the greatest offer, which is God. You see, what makes a man an adult? Perhaps a relationship with God. So, as people with schizophrenia refuse simple offers, as they refuse simple solutions through which they would look like adults, through which they would have the certain status in society, all the status are refused by the person with schizophrenia. The person with schizophrenia seeks for something bigger than that. Not all people with schizophrenia, but many of them. They want something bigger, more satisfactory. They want to be a real good person. They want to be a person of solidarity. They want to be a person who's not performing his deeds just for the sake of approval, just for the sake of being inside, just for the sake of belonging. This is somewhat empty to the person with schizophrenia. Somewhat empty. Easy solutions do not work at all. Being this or that, following this fashion or that fashion does not really promote a sense of fullness in the person. It doesn't. So in schizophrenia, then, you have this double thing, right? You can be a child, but at the same time, you can come close to God, which is the ultimate adulthood, you see. In my life, I went through a lot of shame because I had no girlfriend, I had no job, I didn't have a driver's license, so forth. In many aspects, I looked like a child, mostly because I wanted too much approval from people, like a child, really. I wanted that when I spoke, people would hear me, people would approve me, people would say I was interesting, people would say my talk was a good talk, that I would be a good person to talk to, a good talkative, talking person. So as I had this urge for approval, as I had this need of looking to my sides when I spoke something to see the reaction of people more than the usual, this made me look like a child. I could have said the same things I said in those days, but if I were not looking to my sides in search of approval, I would have looked like an adult and not the child I was so ashamed about. You see, this urge of approval makes us look like children, which is the thing that we most fear, to be children, right? But I would follow no fashion. A fashion is a solution for that. Because when you fit into something that is considered a role, that is considered something acceptable in society, then that is a kind of guarantee that you're not a foolish person, that you're not completely outside. And upon this guarantee, you don't keep looking for approval all the time. This is a complicated issue, and I shall come back to this more times in this YouTube channel. But then there's a day in our lives, there's a day in our lives when we feel a godly presence with us. And that is an offer we accept. That is an offer that is finally satisfactory. That is an offer that hinders people to judge us children. Upon this, we are better people for us and for everybody, a full person, not just a person who looks like a movie actor or a rock star or whatever. No, a full person, able of solidarity, able of bearing responsibilities, able of extending our hands to other people. So, if we speak about enlightenment, it looks like something very dramatic, very big. It is, but perhaps I would say not so much. I stay a little bit with the Japanese monk. He was once asked about enlightenment in his life, and he said, "Oh, afterwards, my garden was more beautiful." I like this view of this Japanese monk. It's something like that. It's not so dramatic, but our lives are more beautiful, more satisfactory. Our lives are more engaged into other people. We can have open spaces in our minds to understand the others. So, yes, there are deep changes in enlightenment. So, I'm a proud person of that because, as you can see, I judge myself an enlightened person. Yes, not perfect person, but I feel like this happened in my life. This happened that I have God inside me. You see, so this is open to people with schizophrenia. Not only me, but other people with schizophrenia may have this path also. We refuse easy solutions that bring status. We could marry a girl and showcase her to everybody, so that everybody could see the beautiful girl that I have married, or not only that, the beautiful job, the beautiful whatever that I have done. Easy solutions to have status. But the ultimate solution, the best of all, which is God, that needs to be awaited. That doesn't come so easy. But when it comes, it is better. You see, what is God for me? You may ask. What are you talking about? You keep speaking about God, God, God. I want to know, what have you experienced in fact? What have you really felt in your life? Be sincere. I want something more precise about God. Okay, I agree with you. I would also ask these questions to a person talking like I am talking now. God for me is a simple thing. I should tell you. God for me is just a tranquility. It's something that comes to me, that calms me down, that makes me more confident, that I feel like intermediates me to other people. You see, God for me is this intermediate between me and other people. A force that comes, that allows me not to look to the sides all the time in search of approval. It gives me some confidence to talk to different kinds of people. That is God for me. Nothing. I have not seen Jesus. I have not dreamed about Jesus. I have not seen miracles in my life. I have even less performed any kind of miracle. That's nothing to do with that. Not to do with that. Not that's not what I'm talking about. I am just talking about a divine presence which allows me to be more confident, to be more friendly, to be a better person. And that is a possibility to many people with schizophrenia. The path of God, the path of solidarity, the path of tranquility. You see? So this is the most important question of this YouTube channel, and I will address it again in other opportunities. So for today, I invite you to ponder, think about this video, think about in your own life. If you have some problems, mental problems in your life, like delusions or whatever, you may find this video especially useful, right? I will talk more about these subjects in other opportunities. But for today, I am finishing here. Thank you for watching me. Please subscribe to this channel to have more interesting videos in your YouTube. Thank you so much.